Peace. Today's episode of the Uplifted Being podcast has been brought to you by the Educated e-commerce online learning platform, presented to you by serial entrepreneur, author, and podcast host of the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint podcast, Jay Jones. Learn how to build a six-figure e-commerce business in 26 weeks with the Educated e-commerce course today. Hit the link in the show notes or log on to educatedecommerce.net to sign up and get started now, family. Peace.
Greetings and welcome to the Uplifted Being podcast, family. It's time to sync up and be uplifted.
You know that feeling. That feeling, you can't describe it really. It's just like that you feel it. That you feel it. That you feel it. That you feel it.
This is how we do it over here at the Uplifted Being show.
They say once you find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe.
I have to be it. Rather than I have to have it or I have to do it. It's like I have to be it. I have to become it. I have to be the change that I want to see.
You realize that that's a reflection of you, and what they do, you can also do.
The tangible versus the intangible, and as we know, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not real.
Find your vibe, you find your tribe.
But you feel it.
Now we're gonna keep it light.
Peace, family. This is Sister Angela, and welcome to the Uplifted Being Show. Hailing from London in England in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us for another fire episode. If you're joining us here for the first time, I want to send you out on behalf of the Trinity. You're going to meet the other two in a moment, but on the behalf of we three, send you a loving, uplifted, lit, warm welcome to the Uplifted Being Show. We are about anything and everything to remind you, beautiful you, of the powerful creator that you are. I said it, of the powerful creator that you are, that each and everyone is. And so, welcome. I invite you to kick back, sit back, relax with us, grab your pen and paper if you want to, or just vibe with us as we get into another awesome episode. But before we get into it, let me hand you over to the rest of the family of the Trinity. So, coming from London in the UK, going over to Toronto, Canada.
Hailing straight from my mama. Peace, family. What's good? It's your brother Brian Ni Ako Boito Ku, 1/3 of the Almighty Trinity, and we in this piece representing that knowledge, that loving vibration, healing energy. Man, how y'all doing, man? I'm feeling good. It's another beautiful day to give thanks for. I'm back with Sister Angela, Brother Dwayne. Trinity is back, and man, we got some things we'd like to share with y'all. Let me pass this off across the imaginary border to a city where things sometimes get out of order. It's not the sticks, man. It is the brick city.
That alley-oop was nice, King. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Some light.
Family. I'll be your brother Dwayne from the Divine Mother, cause ooh, she is fine.
Super
Them
fine.
hills and the mountains and that precipitation, because it's raining over here in New Jersey.
In them caves.
Yeah, you know them caves, man. That's gold is, you know, go in the cave, meditate. Not medicate. Welcome to another episode of the Uplifted Being Show. Woo! Getting there, man. We going in. You know, and I just wanted to say thank you. Make sure you go to upliftedbeing.com And you can find us on Apple Play or Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, all that good jazz, family. So make sure you like, rate, and subscribe, and share. Share with your family and friends if you are about to gain some knowledge, some laughter, some love vibration, some high vibration, different perceptions, different perspective, life-altering information and techniques, family. That's what we do here. You can just check in the archives and go back to each and every episode, and you will be entertained. And not only entertained, but you will be uplifted. So what are we talking about today? I think we're talking about Spirit Reality Part 2.
Part 2, baby.
Numero dos. Are you ready to rumble?
Are you not entertained?
Oh man, family, Spirit Reality.
Yeah,
So what up?
Hey man, we just barely scratched the surface on the last episode, so there was definitely a need to come back, and it was like, why wait? Let's get right to it. You know, what is the spirit? How do you define the spirit? We know, like, okay, we deal with the tangible, material, the manifest, the physical. But when we talk about spirit, it's like all gray area. It's like, how do you measure something like spirit? How do you see spirit? How do you know spirit is real? Man, somebody talk to me. What is spirit?
Hey, man, I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to you. Well, like, I don't want to, like, I don't want to, I don't think either it can or it should be defined. Like, spirit is limitless, it's infinite, it's boundless, it's, you know, can be all-encompassing to a certain extent, you know. That's an oxymoron, isn't it? all-encompassing to a certain extent. But you know what I mean? It's like almost, but the very action of putting some kind of label or definition on it kind of diminishes, for me, you know, the essence of what it is, or the power of what it is, you know.
Wow.
But it is this thing that I said, whether or not they're labels, but it's like, yeah, limitless, infinite, boundless.
Oh, I totally agree. Like, it is limitless and boundless, and you can't really contain it. But for those of us who have no idea what spirit is, Brother Dwayne, in your words,
Oh man,
what is spirit, man?
So that I'm put it in the right brain dominant. You know, it's a feeling process. It's a feeling thing. It's a knowing thing. We're moving out of the age of belief. We know that there is an energy, a force that is within every single living and non-living thing. But then what is a non-living thing? Everything is alive, right? Because it has spirit. So the rock is alive, right? The material, the atom is alive, right? So when we talk about spirit, nobody has the right answer. But at the same time, when we go left brain dominant, we can do some logical reasoning to even get a little glimpse and fathom of what a spirit is, or what spirit is, not a spirit, what spirit is. So from my understanding and my journey and what I feel and was, I guess, gifted with the download to explain, is that spirit is the being that is like Sis said, limitless, boundless. But if you want to understand it, it is the being that speaks and that exists without your physical being. So when you sleep and dream, that dream realm you go to, that's part of spirit. When you think, right? When you're in meditation, when you're feeling, right? When you're perceiving something, that comes from spirit, right? So when you're basically, so we have dimensions, right? We have 3D, right? We have 2D, we have 1D, right? We also have 4D, which is time. And then we have 5D, which is the existence beyond time. So I remember KRS-One, and I probably said this too many times, but I remember KRS-One used to say this, that we have a being inside of us that speaks void of our physical voice and that hears what it speaks void of our physical ears, right? Like if we said, I am love without using our lips, what being is that? And with that same breath, that being sees your past, your present, and your future. So what is the being that sees beyond time? That is what we can call spirit. Right? So when we want to be left brain dominant, that's what we would call spirit and be logical. So what is the same spirit that is within you, that is the being, right? That is in the rock, that is in the stop sign, that is in the light pole, that is in the food in your refrigerator, the food that is in the ground, the mountains that's in the earth, the air that we cannot see but know that is there, right? The force that is governing the universal laws like cause and effect, mentalism, correspondence, gender, polarity, all of these laws or universal principles, the something is governing it, right? That was what we would call spirit. Although, like Queen said, it cannot be defined to its entirety, and it cannot be limited, because in our explanation or definition of it, we put our own perception of it to a certain degree. So what you may see as spirit may not be the same way I see it. But then the whole totality of it is that your perception of it and my perception of it is spirit. So no matter what our differences are, that is spirit. You know what I'm saying? So it's everything. Like literally everything. But yeah, I digress. My brother.
Let that one marinate. I'm like, mic drop.
My brother, what is spirit?
Spirit. I am spirit.
Indeed.
I mean, I agree with, basically what both of y'all said. Spirit is everything. Spirit is boundless. It's limitless. But then, there is, what we can say is a collective spirit, collective energy. And I mean, is there an individual spirit, individual spirits, or are those individual spirits just extensions of that one all-pervasive spirit?
Indeed.
Are the sun?
Sorry, King.
I bow down to the queen.
No, I was just picking up that yesterday or the last episode we had said or mentioned the fact that there is no separation. So I was just calling on that to say that, yeah, on one hand, you may be able to identify kind of a part of spirit, but ultimately it's all part of the all, the one, collective consciousness, one spirit, as it were, if that's possible.
I mean,
well, let's turn to nature, family. Let's turn to nature. Answer: is the sun's rays still part of the sun?
Yes.
Is a drop of water still part of the ocean?
Yes.
All right then. So I think when we look at separation as far as like individual beings or our perception of individual beings, we are still part of the oneness. We are still part of the oneness. The only thing that separates us is perception.
The illusion.
Yes.
Of separation.
Delusion.
They call her Maya.
Yes.
She's a hot little mama.
Hot tamale.
The illusion of oneness, of separation. Pardon me. The reality of oneness, the illusion of separation.
Yeah.
And one thing about spirit, that I can just kind of say how I've come to know more about spirit, or just learn a bit more. It's like spirit and consciousness, they live outside of time and space.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah, they might be present here in time and space, but they live outside of time and space. Time and space is, come on, time and space is just this experience that has us feeling like we're individuals and we're not connected. Time and space is a part of this dimension of reality we're experiencing. You know, it's a construct of our collective consciousness being, you know, having this life in these meat suits, man.
Right. Right.
You know, so how do we activate the spiritual vessel, man? How do we take, you know what I mean, Brother Dwayne? I know you be taking your consciousness to other galaxies and universes, man, and multiverses, man. Come on, man.
Well,
Like
it's funny, man. It's an interesting concept because it's a matrix. Like the first dimension, right, which is a plain flat dimension, interacts with the second dimension, right, which is more so of like shapes. You know what I'm saying? Like a square now, but you get a flat square. You know, so if you were drawing on a piece of paper, the second dimension would just be you just draw, you know, 4 lines and connect them together. Then third D, now you put depth, D-E-P-T-H, depth into that square, right? Now you give it angles or not angles, but you give it depth. So now 4D, now you make the depth square move. You know, so now it's moving from point A to point B. And so all of the dimensions are intertwined, sort of like a matrix. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is working in its own principles and laws for the effect of the oneness. So like, well, let's go back to nature again. The rain that falls from the sky, right, comes from the ocean through a process of the rain lifting from the ocean into the sky. But being that the rain cannot escape the Earth's atmosphere, it then when it becomes heavier than the atmosphere, then falls down back into the Earth. So it's kind of like that circular interacting matrix where everything is everything is serving its purpose for the greater purpose or the greater good or for the collective whole or collective action or whatever, you know, that you want to say, but it's all serving a purpose. So I think to activate your personal spirit or your part of the pie or be the drop of the water that becomes uplifted and enlightened, you must live in your purpose, right? You got to go through your experiences and you're always in your purpose. Right? No matter what decision that you make, you're always in your purpose. You're always on your path. It's just when we become aware of our path, now shit just really get difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, because now you're aware of your cause and effect. You're aware of your mentalism. You're aware of your oneness. And now you're trying to fight those old beliefs, you know, the old, now you're trying to fight, you know, what Queen always alludes to, and I love it, the ego. You know what I'm saying? Now you're trying to fight your ego and self-limiting beliefs to get to that peace and place of oneness and purpose. You know what I'm saying? So activating your own spirit is always activated. You just got to become aware of it. And then once you're aware of it, now you want to alter it to serve you instead of the opposite of serving you.
Not serving you. Hampering you, holding you back, who knows?
You know, prohibiting you. What you think, King? Do you think that there's that you can actually, Queen? Do you
bow down to the Queen.
Yeah, she the enlightened one, man. She the closest thing to the source. So what's up, Queen?
What you saying, bruh?
Yeah, do you think that we have to activate our spirit, or is it always activated, or is just like, man, it ain't even no spirit, the motherfuckers are just doing what they want to do anyway?
I think spirit is always around. I like the word you use, activate, because to me that does kind of signify the need almost to be conscious of it, to know that it's there. Like it's there, but it's like, do we know that it's there? Do we know how and when we're operating from that vibration, from that dimension? You know, so I do think that there is action to take to I was going to say connect with, but literally be conscious of it. But that action it doesn't even have to be major. It's sometimes, you know, just like setting your intention or just going inwards and connecting. But there's something about making a conscious choice, intention, decision to be aware and to be one, like to embrace your oneness with spirit. Because on this plane, our default is not in spirit. Our default is ego. So we always have to be choosing to go to the higher, you know. As good as we may feel, it's just that's what it is. Because as we have said in previous episodes, our ego is just like, you know, it's our vehicle. That's what we need to move around here on Earth in these skin suits. So, you know, we don't want to demonize it too much, because without the ego, my belief is that we wouldn't be here in this realm. But, you know, spirit is there. Spirit's always there. It's just whether we want to acknowledge, tap in, you know, reconnect, or just be at one with that part of us.
Word. The sister done dropped the bomb, family. She done dropped the knowledge.
Oh, why, thank you, my dear.
You feel me? Okay. What up, though?
You already know what to do with it.
Hey, let it do what it do, baby.
It's a spiritual. Hey, man.
So let me jump in real quick, because we did invite the family in the last episode to celebrate with us, as we joined with Brother Dwayne in welcoming the newest member of his tribe.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
the family, the young king. So
I'm so happy about this, man. Like, but I'm so tired. Like,
yeah.
I didn't believe people when they said you wouldn't get any sleep. I didn't believe them, because I wasn't getting sleep before. So it was like, you know, I'm used to it. I don't care. But no, waking up every 2 and 3 hours is it's a challenge.
That kind of sleep deprivation is a whole nother level of lack of sleep. Welcome to Parenthood, King.
The rite of passage.
Right.
What I wanted to touch on was that, yeah, so you've welcomed your young king to this realm, and just the overlap, or how we view that in terms of, okay, so, you know, our children, when they arrive here, you know, how do we look at them? Are we looking at them in terms of, you know, their spirit reality, or just their physical reality, or both? Or, you know, does anyone want to speak on that?
Sure.
Take it away, King.
Hey, you know, me being the father and all that, you know, for the last just a couple of years now, 4 years and change, you know, I was just totally open, but I always knew the spirit that would come through would be special. You know what I mean? And I knew that it would be powerful. And that stretches beyond, you know, the gender of the child, or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just so, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like just the spirit, I felt it, you know? So, I mean, when it comes to children, and I know Sister Angela spoke about it on a couple episodes, about how children are a lot, you know, closer to the source, because, you know, coming into this, incarnating, as we incarnate, it's like we're coming from a place of total spirit into a body. And then it's like, then it becomes a whole nother learning process, a whole nother experience once we get here. You know what I mean? Just to have this physical experience, to return back, you know, to a more spiritual form or a more spiritual way of life or existence.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I totally view children as being more spiritual than anything else. And, you know, my tendency because of my conditioning was to kind of like try to impose my way on them. But, you know, me kind of being at the state of the place in consciousness where I am today, it's like, nah, I just try to guide them and let them live their lives and provide experiences and expose them to certain things that I think will help them. That would be good for their, you know, their resume of experience. But just to guide them and not, you know, it's not really about me. It's not about me making them, you know what I mean? Like how a lot of us were raised, you know what I mean?
Right.
You
must be a doctor.
It wasn't about us. It was about the old people. You know what I'm saying? But I try to take a different approach.
And all kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I think that's powerful, man. Taking yourself out of it and to be selfless, to allow a soul to grow, a spirit to grow and learn this realm, whether it's all over again or for the first time. But I think taking it back to like the dimensional thing. So we broke down like how you got to 4D, you know, moving the square from point A to point B, which will give you time, right? Which time is relative. Anyway, so the fifth dimension would be taking that same concept of the square and then analyzing that, hey, there was a consciousness that created this square in the first place, right? There was a consciousness that created the first dimension, which was just a flat plane line. Then a consciousness that created the second dimension, which was adding, kind of object, you know, like a shape to the line. You know, now you got 4 lines and now all connected. Then the third dimension is putting depth. Then the fourth dimension is putting movement and time. Then the fifth dimension is realizing that there is a consciousness that created this. There was an intention that created this, right? So now when we take that fifth dimension reality, so spirits travel, right? Because they have all of these dimensions, and now within the fifth dimension, they're just vibrating so fast that we can't see it. So they're vibrating on a frequency that we can't see it with our physical eyes. So they're traveling through dimensions, other dimensions that we have yet to kind of fathom. You know what I mean? Like we can't rationalize them. We can't
perceive.
Yeah, perceive. Well, yeah, we could perceive it, but we can't. Our humanity can't rationalize it. We would have to leave our humanity behind in order to know it. So I would say that, it travels, and that's where we get the zodiac from, right? I would like the stars and the planets, but those are actually galaxies. Those are actually dimensions. So, or not actually galaxies. Those are dimensions. Pardon me. I didn't mean to say galaxy. Those are dimensions. So they're traveling through a certain set of dimensions depending on what they've decided or what their intention was on coming to Earth. You know what I'm saying? So like we chose our parents before coming here. Like we made an agreement before coming here, right? Before inhibiting a body, we chose all of these things. And it's not in the form of destiny. It's in the form of experience. We chose these things to gain an experience. And now that experience will help to move this plane, this earth plane, which is the lowest of the dimensions, right? Like if you read ancient Sanskrit text, they call earth hell. Like it's the lowest place of all of the dimensions. But we come here in order to increase the vibration of this plane. So we have to go through all of the all of the experiences that will help us increase the vibration. So that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is we're born into human flesh. We gain a consciousness, right? And we grow, right? The baby is just feeding, shitting, pooping, and crying. So that's all that it is, and that's all that it's going to be. And we're just going to go through life. We're going to tell them to be a doctor, a lawyer, a bum, or a gangster, whatever experiences they're going to go through, and hopefully they'll learn. And then by the time they die, hopefully they just, we just throw them a party, And it could be just as simple as that. But we know that is not that simple. We know it's not as simple as that. How do we know that? Because everything has an experience, a purpose, and a mission. And we know that it has a spirit and it has a consciousness and awareness outside of the physical reality.
Ashe.
Oh. Hopefully that was logical enough.
That was deep.
Because it's hard to bring the metaphysical to a logical standpoint. You know what I'm saying? So because it's like we know it, it's a knowing. We don't have to believe it anymore. We don't have to ponder about it. It's a knowing.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to that knowing point, it's like it's unexplainable. It's unexplainable.
That's the connection with whether you call it spirit, whether you call it the highest source, collective consciousness. We talk consciousness. We talk a lot about intuition. As sophisticated or intelligent as we may be, there are some things that are just unexplainable.
Right.
You just know what you know. You don't know how you know what you know, but you just know what you know. How you sense that, but you feel it.
It's a feeling thing.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people are cut off from their feelings, and so many people are opinionated and dealing with their ego on a low vibrational plane. And that's where we get the Aisha Curry situation, where so many people got so much to say about it. But it's like, if you were focused on your own spirit, if you were focused on your own purpose, your own passion, your own life, whatever Aisha Curry got to say shouldn't even bother you, no matter if she wanted validation or not. Why does that bother you? What she eats and what she does not make you money, or does not make you shit, or does not make you enlightened. So, you know what I mean? So, family, I got a question for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
How do we be an enlightened being in a chaotic world? How do we be a spirit in a chaotic world that's so focused on the physicality and materials? And like King said in the last episode, the condensed energy that turns into material. How do we find harmony with that?
Well, I would say, in your question, and it's my interpretation, is that there is probably an assumption that, to be enlightened, high vibrational, spiritual, there's an assumption that, there must be peace, there must be calm, there must be Zen. But that doesn't need to be across the whole world for one person to experience it, because that's experienced within, So I think that's where the true power lies, when you know yourself, and you can have that sense of peace and groundedness despite the chaos going on around, because the chaos will always be there in some shape or form. And it's how you kind of, separate from that in terms of, but this is not, who I am, or this is not who really people are, but this is a dynamic that plays out, and you just work to recognize which part of you are tapped into, if you're coming from spirit, and if not, how you get back to that to get yourself grounded. I don't think spirituality exists in this nice perfect little bubble. I think it is most powerfully seen where like right now, you know, when the world is going crazy, but you see that there is a sense of inner calm about people and the way they go about things.
Word. Asheo. So check this out, though, family. Brother Dwayne asked about being enlightened in these days and times. And he also mentioned something about somebody's wife. I wasn't even too familiar with her name, but I know what she looks like. And it's like, you know, being enlightened, the key word is light, you know, and the reason why a lot of us are focused on, you know, so-called celebrities, or another word that we have for celebrities is stars, because we are the stars. But to be enlightened is basically to be filled with light. And, you know, stars shine. Stars shine, whether it's that dope boy rapper who you wouldn't want your children to associate with, or you know, it's, you know, the most, you know, so-called enlightened person who's just, you know, exuding that love energy, that love vibration. Regardless, there's a whole spectrum, but regardless, stars shine. And that's what it means to me to be enlightened, is to be filled with light. So it's just like, man, just in order to be enlightened out here in the world today, I would say it comes to just knowing yourself, and being yourself, being true to yourself. And, you know, and letting your light shine. And so, you know, but the real enlightenment, when it comes to, you know, like when we like to talk about the spirituality and talk about all of these enlightened masters and ascended this and that, it's like greater than your own light is, you know, that source light. And so when you let that source light shine through you, that's, I think, what we're talking about being enlightened. You know what I mean? Letting that real, and we all got that ability to, but, you know, we're not all tuned in, you know what I mean, to the dimensions of reality.
Right. That's beautiful. That goes straight back to what we were saying before about, you know, being part of the all, or the one, you know, not being separated. So letting that source light shine through you, it's like just recognizing that you are part of the all. You can tap into that any time. So I think another part of being enlightened is choosing to be so, because we can equally, and we do often, just choose to be in our ego life, like that's all we are. You know, it's a choice. Or it's a choice to remain there, if I'm saying that that's the default where we are. It's a choice to remain there and not to, you know, tap into the light. You know?
Right. Sorry, let that marinate, like, as King would say. Sheesh. So, because I was looking at it, right, from a standpoint of myself. Like, how can I choose? Because, all right, let me give a little backstory. So I used to think that enlightenment or high vibration was being kind, you know, basically being a yes person, you know, a yes man, you know, just giving love to everyone, you know what I mean? Like, including yourself. It was just like, you know, there were certain stipulations to it. But then as I journeyed and traveled and experienced and realized that enlightenment is being real. Being true, like King said, being true to yourself and being yourself no matter what. And like we've mentioned on this show plenty of times, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to be joyful. It's okay to be kind. It's okay to not be kind. It's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay to have the human experience. But what are you feeling on the inside while you're having these experiences is enlightenment. So yeah, it may be difficult and you may get swayed at times, you know what I'm saying? Cause it's hard when bills is at your neck and it's hard when everything that is in the West of capitalism is facing you, you know what I'm saying? And we've been conditioned to have this idea of when I'm 30, I must have this, that, and the third. I must have the nice house. I must have the family. I must have the white picket fence and the dog. You know what I'm saying? And if that's not happened, then my life is shitty. You know what I'm saying? And I think because of that strong conditioning and because we're so conditioned to see materialism as the be all and end all, we aren't choosing to be tapped into our true selves. Right? So I think alongside what King and Queen has already said, I think it's also just a matter of being real, being true to who you are, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the hardest things was one of the hardest things for me to acknowledge and accept and be, was because I think I just was swayed by everyone else around me. You know what I'm saying? I took on everyone else's problems with a knowing and a feeling that, yeah, I can take your problems and make it better. You know what I'm saying? Not realizing that I wasn't being true to myself and realizing taking on your problems was adding on to my problems. And now I jumbled up and made your problems my problem. Now I got more problems than I should. So I just got to a point where I realized I had to be true to myself. And sometimes I got to tell people, fuck you. And that's still enlightenment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real. 100. Very true.
You know? And sometimes I got to let people tell me, fuck me. And they're still enlightened. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just a matter of being real and being true to yourself in a world of chaos.
Yeah, and sometimes the truth is not always, happy-go-lucky, fluffy, nice things. Truth is truth. And that the saying, the truth can be harsh. You know?
Truth hurts sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't give a fuck about how we feel.
Hey, shout out to Truth Hurts, man. Shout out to Truth Hurts, man.
Yeah.
Y'all forgot about her.
No, I haven't forgotten about her.
Thank you for the reminder.
For real.
So, family.
Oh, man.
Is it about that time?
And man, it's time to wrap it up like a baby in a diaper. I was gonna say like a swaddle.
Yeah, like a swaddle.
But nah, like a straight out nappy.
Okay.
A nappy. Yeah, when I first read nappy, man, 'cause I was looking up, certain things about dad and, being a dad and stuff like that. And I saw like changing nappy and I'm like, what the fuck is a nappy? Like, what is a nappy? And then
that's what we call them over here in the UK.
Yeah, I realized that, but I had no idea what a nappy was. But yeah, I think I'm becoming a diaper changing pro. Like I told myself, it was like 5 seconds with the wipe. Yeah.
Hey.
Getting there. Cause he cries when I do it. So it's like, gotta hurry up,
Oh, bless.
Make this quick for both of our sake.
Right. I hate when you cry, man. That shit hurts my heart. But it's like, you gotta cry.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exercise those lungs, man.
Yeah.
That's his form of communication for now.
That shit used to hurt my heart, but it took me so long to just be like, man, whatever. Go ahead and do your thing. Right.
If that's what you choose to do, young soul or old soul or new being, new human.
Human, yeah.
Then do what you choose to do.
The whole conditioning factor is real, but
word.
It's real. So, the spirit, reality, Who's going in?
I take it.
Wow,
I
it
take
is
it.
double down.
I take the light. I take the light. Listen, family, I'm gonna just keep this brief. I'm very thankful to be here. I'm very thankful to have my brother and my sister and to have y'all listening and tuning in and supporting us, you know, and I just want to make one thing known, man. We don't know everything, you know, especially me. I don't know everything. You know, I could be wrong about everything that I've ever said, and I'm okay with that. You know, I think that I've mustered up some courage to be able to talk about subjects and learn about subjects and tap into myself and receive downloads and be open to receive downloads that aren't so comfortable, you know, all the time, that challenge my own beliefs, that always put me in a state of self-analyzation, you know, self-awareness. And, you know, I channeled and mustered up courage to be able to stand firm on what I know or what I think I know, you know what I'm saying? And stand firm in what I, you know, have studied within myself, and stand firm in the downloads that I receive. But, you know, I'm also open to correction. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all out there and you got challenges, you know what I'm saying, and challenge anything that I've said or anything that King and Queen have said, do so. You know, open dialogue, and that's how we learn, and that's how we grow, and that's how we expand our consciousness. You know, so I'm open to it. You know, and I also just want to let y'all know, as always, man, there's beauty in everything, and it's up to us to see it.
Facts.
And once we see it, we gotta appreciate that mother lover. You feel me? Because I mean, what's the chaos without the beauty, and what's the beauty without the chaos? It's just
Exactly.
which one do you choose to see? What do you put your attention on? And it's easy to put your attention on the chaos. Trust me, I'm dwelling in it right now. I put my attention in all the chaos that's going on around me. You know what I'm saying? And I just tell you, it don't feel good, and it ain't good for me. I know this, but I let my vibration slip. I let my mind slip. I let my discipline slip. And it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm going to come back with new discipline. You know what I mean? A newfound experience, a newfound opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So I know how it is. You got to, I just embrace my contrast. You know what I'm saying? And although while I'm in my contrast, it fucking sucks. It sucks big time. You know, and then embracing contrast and then fasting at the same time. Yeah, I'm going through it, family, and I'm sleep deprived. Yep, I'm going fucking through it. All right. But I embrace it, and it sucks, but I embrace it, and I'm striving, family. But I just wanted to say thank you for all of your support, all of your encouragement, all of your love, you know, and all of your own individual journeys. You know what I'm saying? Like, we doing something right. I hope.
I know.
I think to that. Yeah. Spirit reality. It's true. We touched on a lot, but I'm sure there's even more we could go deep on. And I agree 100 with Brother Dwayne. It's like, yeah, we're not saying here like we know everything. I'm seeking even to be more in a place where I don't know anything. So I can get to know more, you know. It's good. Our journey is all about learning something. Because we are here for an experience, you know. And the thing about the reality, that is that we are not just physical beings. Because, yeah, really and truly, if all we were operating on is on a physical plane, and really that's all we believed there was, that is like seriously limiting, you know, in a very severe way. Not judgmental, just factually, it's very limiting. But we are so much greater than our physical form and the attributes that we have. But the physical has a place, as does spirit. You know, it was spirit first before this physical form. So the journey is just about getting to know ourselves, both aspects, you know, all that we are, we do, and we experience on the physical plane, but also that the higher ourselves of spirit, and all that opens up to, and enables us to do, you know? So it's like embrace our whole selves. There's maybe one drop in the ocean, you know, one part of the collective consciousness. The spirit is real, no doubt about that.
Ashe.
So family, I haven't went last in a long time, man. Let me see if I can.
The anchor.
Yeah, let me see if I could, you know, represent for the Trinity. Alright, so check this out. Spirit, reality. And just like Brother Dwayne said and Sister Angela echoed, I don't know it all. I don't propose to know it all. I quite frankly don't even want to know it all. But I come on this show and I give you me. Here I am. All of me. And by, you know, doing that, this show it's part of it's part of the fire that refines my beingness. You know what I mean? So I give thanks to all the family that tune in. I give thanks to Brother Dwayne, Sister Angela, and I give thanks, you know, that I'm even able to engage in these conversations, you know, for the benefit. You know, I could be wrong, I could be right, but everything I say, if you are able to feel the spirit behind my words, because that's what I'm giving you. It's me, it's the spirit behind the words. Then you'll be able to know the place that the words are coming from. And that goes for any and everybody. You know what I mean? Some people are less articulate than others, but it doesn't mean, and some of them are even more felt than others. You know what I mean? It's the spirit. You know what I mean? So you got to feel me. You ain't got to like me. You ain't got to love me. You ain't even got to smell me. But you gotta feel me. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
and I'ma love you and feel you, pause. But I'ma love you too.
I love you too. I love you too. And with that being said, you got to love APLUSSMOODEES A+Smoothies.com. You know what I'm saying?
Our official sponsor.
For sure. Get you some of that some.
Plus some.
And while we digging up people, we gotta send a big shout out to Chiefswear.com. Chiefswear.com, your one-stop shop for African jewelry and fashion. Log on and they got it going on.
Oh yeah.
Family. Don't forget to check out upliftedbeings.com. Sync up, sign up to come aboard the journey with us, and leave us a voice message. We'd love to hear your beautiful voices. We may play them on the show. Hit us up and let us know if there's anything in particular that's jarring you right now, like that you think really needs to be aired and nobody's talking about it, but you want to get something off your chest. We're here for you. Just hit us up. There's nothing that we refuse to talk about. It's all good. Whatever we think will help the family think, you know, that will challenge, that will just cause us to, evolve, you know, see things a bit differently. So hit us up. You know, you can reach us on Facebook and Instagram Uplifted Being Show, Facebook Uplifted Being, and you can also join the private Facebook group obviously on Facebook, but it's Uplifted Being. So we look forward to connecting with you.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Because we are one. One mind, one spirit, One love.
Eh, eh.
One love.
Let's get together and
feel alright.
oh yeah.
Okay. It's lit up in the building.
You know?
So thank you for joining us, family. Thank you for taking the time out to hang out with us. We hope you take away at least just one thing that maybe you haven't thought about, or, you know, you thought, wow, you didn't think that about, you know, that will challenge you, or maybe help you to look at things in a different way. That's cool. Is there anything that you said that you just thought, nah, that can't be, man, that's just not going to be? Hey, hit us up. We love to hear different kinds of perspectives, for sure. With all that being said, we thank you, we are you, we're here for you, and we bid you
Light,
love,
love,
and
peace. Walk light.
talk light.
Be light.
See light.
Alright.
Alright.
The secret's not a secret. Everybody knows. Where our attention goes, our energy flows. The secret's not a secret. Everybody knows. Where our attention goes, our energy flows.
Where attention goes, energy flows. Is it coincidence we spend time and pay attention? I don't think so. I know we always get what we've always got when we always do what we've always done. We can better the world. Love over fear's a decision. Actions come back, boomerang. Thoughts come back, boomerang. Emotions come back, boomerang. Vibrations come back, come back. Gratitude, abundance, peace, love, and light. Give what you desire to receive, deliberately create your life. That victim mentality holds us in slavery. There's infinite possibilities. It's your world, take accountability. Like attracts like. People are like mirrors. Melanin Rich can't afford to complain. The game, I see it clearer. I used to be so toxic, change was a thought away. Now I live so clean, grateful for another day. Grateful for my time and space, for the breath of life I take. If I say I'm tied up, that means I'm free, just making waves here.
The secret's not a secret, everybody knows. Where our attention goes, our energy flows. The secret's not a secret, everybody knows. Where our attention goes, our energy flows. Thank you for tuning in. Check out upliftedbeing.com and remember to rate, review, like, share, and comment, depending on where you're listening from. Light, love, and peace, family.